It was my birthday yesterday, so my wife and I, Basil and my lucky hat, travelled down to Kruger, which is about 4.5 hours drive from where we live. So that's what we're doing here. And it's been pretty nice so far. We've only just arrived, but at 20,000 square kilometres, Kruger is quite easy to get lost in, even when it's busy. One of the nicest things for me about Kruger is that pretty much every bend and rise has a memory for me. And just driving through the landscape, even if I don't see anything, I can recall all of those memories from so long ago. Times that I spent with my mother and father as a little child, and then later with friends, and now with my wife. All of that comes back and plays out in my mind as I'm driving through the scenery. In fact, it was only down this slope about 10 or 15 years ago that I saw a feline rush of molten gold and spots crawling across the road, and a leopard disappearing into the grass on the other side. What a moment. And I'm not that hopeful of seeing a leopard tonight, because in my experiences leopards happen. They don't really get found, but if one did happen to do the same again, I wouldn't mind at all. My wife Fiona thinks it's hilarious because I've just done a minute-long piece to camera with the record button not pressed. And I seem to do that quite a lot. Must be too exciting here. Anyway, we're parked up next to a couple of trees filled with vultures and tawny eagles, various species of vultures. I think I've seen a hooded vulture, a white-backed vulture, griffon, Cape vulture, and as I said, a couple of tawny eagles. Now normally this would be a fantastic place to be because we're upwind of these birds and they're having to take off into this slight breeze and fly over us, which gives us a lot of great opportunities to snap a few shots. The only problem is this flat grey sky, and these birds, being mostly brown, don't look too attractive against that. If you want to take a picture, you're going to have to pump up that exposure compensation to about plus 2.5 to 3 stops. Maybe even blow out that sky and you'll nail the bird. The only problem is with that drab bird against that grey to bleached out white background, it might not make for the most beautiful shot of a vulture. It's much easier to photograph them when they're at a kill, when they're taking off the ground and they're highlighted against a green or brown background from the land or a bright blue sky, which we do get quite a lot in Africa. turned into a gorgeous warm afternoon with scattered clouds and shapes and shadows flitting across the landscape. And it's late summer here, mid-March in Kruger, and that means the grass is high, laden with yellow seed and ripe. But it also means that it's very difficult to see game. There's water around about, not just at the waterholes, and because of this high grass, plenty of food, and also plenty of places to hide. Southern ground hornbills make for some of the most wonderful subjects when you're out here photographing. Not only because they're really strange looking birds with their curved beaks and beautiful red faces and wonderful calls that they make in the early morning, but also because they're absolutely rapacious scavengers. They'll wander through the veldt and repeatedly pick up grubs, chameleons, large insects, anything they can find, and toss them up into the air before swallowing them whole. I've found a Klipspringer, and I'm quite excited about that because I was looking out for him. And the reason I was looking out for him was because we were driving past a granite outcrop, or hillock, which we call a kopje in this part of the world. And they're really good places to look for these secretive little antelope because they like to hang out on these rocky exposed slopes or mountainsides. And they blend in quite easily, so they're not easily seen. But this guy was sitting on a granite pinnacle out in the open, enjoying the mid-afternoon sunlight. It's the end of another perfect day in Africa.